Every time I start a video, my heart starts racing like crazy. But the reason that I'm making this video is because of mental health awareness. I did not know this, but it is Mental Health Awareness Month, the month of May, where people talk about mental health and their stories, and just bringing awareness to the fact that it's I don't want to say issue, but it's a reality for a lot of people, and it's almost surprising at how much people deal with mental health, mental illness, and I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to film this video because it was really important to me, and that's what YouTube is. You talk about things that you're passionate about, and a lot of people don't know what I've gone through, and it just brings me a lot of emotion when I talk about it. Mental health. What does that mean, you might ask? I don't know too much about it because it all just became so surreal to me just like a few years ago. Like, people struggle with anxiety, depression, disorders, diseases, things that is an everyday battle, I guess you could say. It's just gonna get emotional, I already know. I don't know what to say. Okay, yeah. I'm a big baby. That's one thing nobody really knows about me is I'm a really emotional person. I need to like calm down. My heart is racing, so I don't really even know where to start. Ugh, fucking light. I'll do this. So my light is bipolar. I feel like everybody struggles with something and that nobody really talks about. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is just to talk about it, because it helps to talk about it, I guess, and it's something I don't do very often. You guys are probably wondering, okay, what do you struggle with? What do you struggle with, you know? I struggle with a lot. One of them being anxiety, like a lot of people. Let me just get straight to the point. I don't know. Where do I begin? I guess I can start off when I was a little girl. And like when you're young, you know right from wrong. You know, but you sometimes don't. You're young. We're just gonna like not film with this light on because go somewhere, you know? Yeah. When I was young, something happened to me, and I guess you could guess where I'm going with that. Something bad happened, and I think that's where it all began, of like feeling like you can't go to anybody for help, I guess. I know when you're a kid, that's all you do is, I don't know, ask for help, but in this situation, it just felt like I couldn't do that for some reason. And at the time, I felt like I didn't know what to do. I don't want to specify what happened. All you guys are gonna hear is that something bad happened to me when I was little, and it was traumatizing for a long time. So I never said anything. I never told anybody. Like, I didn't know what was happening. All I felt was that it was wrong, and stuff like that isn't supposed to happen. But who's gonna believe me, you know? Like, no one believes a kid. So years go by, and you know, it doesn't faze me almost, because, oh yeah, that happened, but life goes on type thing. Like, I don't know. I wrote about it in my diary a few times, and then I ripped it up. I was probably 12, 13 maybe when I wrote about it. I know I'm very broad, but I mean, some things I just don't feel comfortable explaining fully, but I'm talking about it. I haven't talked about it aloud before, like to everyone. It's so weird because how it got out. It's just crazy to me how that came about, because I was never going to say anything. Literally, I was gonna keep it a secret for the rest of my life. To be honest, I was getting my cards read, like a tarot card reading, and it just came up. And then I said something, and just tears flooded my face, and I couldn't stop crying because I never said it aloud before. It was almost like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders, and then the police were called, and I had to do this whole investigation thing, and you know, nothing happened because there wasn't enough evidence, because I waited too long to say something. This person who did bad things to me as a child, you know, still is out there because I never said anything, and that will always haunt me because I could have said something and I just never did. Some people, not everyone, like question the truth about it. And then like, oh, well, she's lying and she wants attention. Oh, no one's ever really said that to me personally, but you know, you always have those people who, I don't know, who just don't believe in your truth, I guess you could say. But you know, things happen for a reason. That's where it started. When I was 8 years old, things just gradually, I don't know, I think that's why I isolate myself so much from everybody, because I don't know how to speak up. I don't know how to voice my opinion sometimes. I don't know how to explain myself. And then in November of 2017, I will never forget that month, because that's when things get worse. I think it was just a bunch of stress that caused what happened, and I've had to see therapists, and you know, I don't like talking to therapists because they're complete strangers that you tell your problems to, and I don't like that. I guess what I forgot to mention was when I finally spoke up, I was about 15 years old, and my parents wanted me to see a therapist and talk about my problems, or I don't know, just talk about my feelings, I guess, because I've bottled them up for so many years. I went a couple times and I didn't want to go anymore. I told my mom I just don't want to go anymore, and she asked me why. She said, why don't you want to go anymore? And that was my excuse. I just don't want to go anymore. And I never really told her why, the real reason. Because when I did go to therapy, I had to miss school to see a therapist. I didn't like missing class. I didn't want to have to make up homework assignments or, I don't know, class assignments. I didn't want to have to make up for anything. Just told her I don't want to go anymore. When all I could have said was I don't want to miss any more school. But the funny thing about it was when I was talking to this person, this therapist, I guess, it almost felt good to express myself, but I was scared of that, and I just shut down. I shut down and I didn't want to go, and so that's what I did. I just stopped going, and life went on. Okay, and we have light again. seriously need to invest in a better light because that one is a piece of crap. Where was I? November 2017. Yeah, that happened. That happened, and I guess you're wondering what happened. What happened, Destiny? A lot happened actually. My mind didn't feel right, and I knew something was wrong. I just didn't feel like my normal self. And I texted my mom and I told her how I was feeling and told her how I felt like everyone around me, I felt like they all knew something that I didn't. And it was a scary feeling to me. Like I felt like I was being watched, and then I'm being very broad about it because I don't want to mention too much, and I'm just going to give you the basic key points of what went down. There's too much to it that I just don't want to explain. You guys are gonna have to live without a light because this is just, it's not going right. My stupid light wants to turn off every 5 seconds. We're gonna have to live without it. I don't care about that right now. I just want to say what I have to say, and I keep stalling, and it's so annoying. So I wasn't feeling right. I felt like I was being watched, and when I was at work, it was almost as if I was having like an anxiety attack without knowing I was having an anxiety attack. Like I wasn't aware that that's what was happening. I was just so in a state of where I can't calm down. What's wrong? I just needed to like take a breather or go in the corner, or I was not myself at work, and it really showed. And my boss, I guess, the higher person, the regional manager, he was at work that day, and he saw, or I don't know, because he took me to the side, and he was asking me what's wrong. And they called my parents, and I was not in a good state of mind, and so I went home early, and we went to the hospital that day. We went to the emergency room, and they did a CAT scan on my brain, and everything was fine. Didn't seem like anything was wrong. I couldn't handle being in the waiting room any longer than I had to be. So we left. We left when we were still waiting for the results of the CAT scan, and because I couldn't relax. I wasn't thinking straight, I guess you could say. I don't know. I guess nobody really knew what to do at that point. I was really emotional, and it affected my relationship, and I had to stay at my parents' for a bit. I just had to be away from what I was around all the time. I guess I just had to be by myself. I had to go through what I had to go through to find out the things I know now, you know. I was taken to this place, I guess, where I don't really know what to call it. It's a Christian group of people who, I don't know, almost like a group home, I guess. And then things escalated. I had to get taken away, got handcuffed by the police, and they took me to this behavioral center place, and I was so freaked out. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was being I felt like I was gonna die. That's honestly how I felt. I felt like I was in trouble, like people were looking for me, like the government was out to get me. That's basically how I could freaking tell you. The government was out to get me, and that's how I viewed everything that was going on. I was basically hospitalized in a way where they did studies on people who have mental disorders. I have people who have things wrong with them in the head, who don't know how to cope with life. That's where I went. I did not want to be there at all. To me, at the time when everything was happening, I felt like I was being forced in a way to take pills, and I didn't want to take pills. Like, I hated it with a passion there. Like, I just refused to take pills there, and there's like, if you take these then you will get out and blah blah blah. I felt like I was in this place for an eternity. I think it was like 2 weeks that I was in this place. I didn't even know what day it was. There was no windows, and I couldn't tell the time. I felt like I was getting worse in the head the longer I was there. I was so confused as to why I was there. I felt like I did nothing wrong. There's this hearing that you had to go to, you know, state your case, I guess, in a way. Like, I don't know, and when I did that, I didn't even really say anything. I just said it was all my fault, and I'm the reason why I was in there, and I didn't really try to defend myself. I just was confused to what was going on. I just wanted to leave. I wanted to be out of there, and I felt like I was never going to leave. I felt like I was trapped forever. My parents were there, and then it was really emotional. I started crying, and they were telling me these things, and I was just like so confused that like they were telling me that I was like, I don't even want to say it because it was just so weird to say out loud. Yeah. I don't even want to say it. I don't. They were telling me that I had schizophrenia or something, and in my mind I'm just like, no, I don't have schizophrenia. I've never in my right mind had any issues my entire life, and all of a sudden I have schizophrenia. Like, the fuck? I felt like in my mind they wanted me to believe this. They were shoving this information into my parents' ears and telling them this is what's wrong with me. I didn't want to believe it. I was such in denial. I'm not crazy. That's what I was thinking. I'm not crazy. And as I got out, it was around Thanksgiving, and my mind was just not right, and I want to make a separate video on my mindset on everything that was going on, because I just can't explain it in this video. It'll be too long. But that's basically what happened. After so many days or weeks of taking these pills, and I'm out of this place finally, and my mind starts to get clear. I'm starting to think normally and rationalize things. Everything that was happening, I started to realize I was hallucinating when I didn't know I was, because what I thought I was seeing was real. It was my reality, and I thought everyone was seeing it too. And I was hearing things, and I thought I was special. I had these powers, and that's why I thought the government was out to get me. Like, I was like, oh shit, they found out, now they're trying to find me and kill me. But the story does not end there. So I'm getting better, taking these pills, and it just makes me depressed that I have to take pills every day to be in my right mind, and I didn't like that at all. I was seeing this other therapist, and it got to the point where I just stopped going again. But I did see a psychiatrist. He's prescribing my prescription for the pills that I need, and that's basically the only doctor I end up seeing as the months go on. Then I end up getting a new insurance. I have to switch psychiatrists, basically tell them everything all over again because I'm seeing a new doctor. I haven't had any symptoms of schizophrenia as I'm taking these pills. I feel completely fine. I don't feel like I did before. I feel normal. I feel like every other person. I didn't feel like I was being watched. My brain was rationalizing things, making sense of things, and I understood why. I just understood better. What I see sometimes isn't probably what I'm really seeing. You'd probably ask, well, how do you know what you're seeing isn't an hallucination? Well, you're right. I don't know if I'm seeing a hallucination or not. I just kind of have to ask people around me, is that really there, type thing, and I don't like having to do that. I'm getting better, and he's telling me I don't have schizophrenia. Yeah, the new psychiatrist that I'm seeing, he's telling me that I don't have schizophrenia because if I did, I wouldn't be able to function like a normal person. I would have episodes more often. Yeah, I would be experiencing hallucinations and voices a lot often than I was. So he diagnosed me with psychotic disorder. I'm not even that educated on it. Schizophrenia, a long-term mental disorder of a type involving a breakdown in the relation between thought, emotion, and behavior, leading to faulty perception, inappropriate actions and feelings, withdrawal from reality and personal relationships, into fantasy and delusion, and a sense of mental fragmentation. That basically explained everything that I was going through. But now I'm diagnosed with psychotic disorder. So psychotic disorders are severe mental disorders that cause abnormal thinking and perception. People with psychosis lose touch of reality. Two of the main symptoms are delusions and hallucinations. Schizophrenia as one type of psychotic disorder. That's the thing. I haven't been feeling anything. I don't hallucinate or hear voices anymore, is how I could put it. I don't feel crazy. So much more people go through this every day, and I know how hard it could be. I no longer feel that way anymore, but then again, I just feel like really emotional about things. I've been seeing this doctor for a few months. He's seeing my progress and telling me I'll soon be off the medication that I'm taking. March 28th of this year, 2019, he finally told me I no longer have to take pills because I'm not experiencing any symptoms, and yeah, I was so happy. Like, you have no idea. I was just so relieved that I didn't have to take pills anymore. One of the biggest questions that I had for him was what he thought caused my my episode, my way of thinking. No one in my family has a history of this at all. The more I explain myself and the more I talk about it, I want to feel more comfortable about starting the conversation, I guess. Maybe helping someone who is going through it, and it's almost like a weight that I can release. I feel like I've just been in this hole of depression. I've been given this disorder I didn't ask for, and but I'm off medication. I've been documenting my feelings, so next time I see my psychiatrist, I can tell him. What I'm trying to say is it's really important to take care of yourself. It's really important to I don't know, talk about it. And that's what I'm trying to do. For anybody who is dealing with depression, anxiety, disorders, or just mental health, I guess, anything that they're going through, you are not alone. I guess it's sort of cliche to say you're not alone, but I mean, you really aren't. There's tons of people who go through the same things. They just don't talk about it, and you never really know what people are going through. And now you know. It's okay that people know, because it brings awareness. It brings awareness. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. Go May. And that's what I wanted to say. I'm probably gonna make more videos on this subject just because it's something I'm passionate about, and it's good to talk about it. Whew. I don't even know how to end this video. If you watched the video this far, thank you for listening. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go now. Subscribe.